Wait, are Egwene and Rand still together? I'm so confused.
How long are we going to have to wait to find out about season 4?
And while we're in the off season, how many devices will Elayne take apart and put back together again? All this and more on the finale episode of Wheel of Time for season 3 and the finale episode for Bustin' Blockbusters. Hey everybody, welcome to Bustin' Blockbusters, the finale episode of this podcast as we cover the finale episode of the Wheel of Time season 3, episode 8, He Who Comes with the Dawn, written by Justine Juel Gillmer and directed by Ciaran Donnelly. No point in just saying anything more about it because a lot happened and we're going to be talking about it. So let's start by giving our ratings for this episode. Priscilla, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate season 3, episode 8, He Who Comes with the Dawn?
9 out of 10 double L's.
Wait, double L's?
Loveless lanfear.
Oh,
like the inevitable breakup happened. Finally, lanfear. She's now officially crazy ex-girlfriend again.
Aw, again.
I didn't understand. Did Raven wanted to get shoot his shot with, I don't know, have like something with lanfear? I don't understand what's going on. That's my main takeaway from all the Forsaken. I'm just glad that they are there because they always bring the drama. And if Mogadin comes, we know somebody's going to die, which is also incredibly fun to watch. So Rand is back again, being his wise self. And Egwene, for some reason, still cares for him. So Aviendha continues to remind everyone that just because Rand is the Caracal, it does not mean that they have to like him or even respect him, which is a position that I appreciate also. And Swan, we all know that I have been very critical of her, but that scene, I'm still sad about it, the way it panned out, but it was written all over Tarvalon's walls, I suppose. So Moiraine is still alive, lanfear too. Elayne is pretty much the best, badass girl in Tanchico at this point, because Nynaeve, of course, she made sure that her team lost everything, accomplished nothing other than what Elayne got and what Matt got. So Nynaeve herself, okay, she's unblocked now. Dude, you didn't capture anybody from the Black Aja. You didn't get anything that you came there to get. So sorry, Nynaeve. This season was definitely not your season. And but what does everything mean? I have no idea.
But you have no idea, but 9 out of 10. Wow. I can't wait to hear what you loved and what you weren't confused about.
I think I like being confused sometimes.
Okay.
I like trying to figure things out and just enjoying it. Yeah.
Great. Well, is it okay to give you my rating, Priscilla?
Of course. Go ahead.
All right. Well, you went 9 out of 10 for this season finale. I'm going 8 out of 10 double Fs.
Double Fs.
Well, double Fs, I'm the non-book reader. I don't know where the story is going in this season, so I can be surprised. And those effing Finns, they surprised the hell out of me. I thought, what show am I watching where we've got porn Thundercats hosting an OnlyFans through a red arch doorway? What the F? I'm giving it 8 out of 10, and I'm subtracting 2 points for what I feel like are 2 missing episodes. If this season was 10 episodes where they could flush everything out, I think everything would have worked. I'm not so sure about this freaky, foxy Finn, who I was not a fan of at all. But boy, did I love Nynaeve's parting of the water. Melindra, we didn't spend much time with her at all. But again, if we had 2 more episodes, maybe we could have. But still, her sacrifice in dying without killing Lan, I mean, I thought that was powerful. Ran to Moiraine. You screwed me over. Thanks. I loved it. I loved so much of this stuff. I can't wait to celebrate it. But there was some feedback a while ago that said, hey, when something out of the blue happens, it's good for TV shows because you don't have to tease everything before it happened. OMG, did this red freaky fox freak me out. And I was not a fan. And even if you remove that, I might have gone 10 out of 10. Well, the season did need those 2 additional episodes, in my opinion, but still, 8 out of 10. Can't wait to find out when we're going to get season 4.
And that's the big question, isn't it? When we're going to get season 4. In the meantime,
oh yeah,
9.2 out of 10. Quadruple
Whoa.
A's for me.
Quadruple A's.
Yeah, all about absent Asmodean. Because there were so many things with the Forsaken in this particular episode that a particular Forsaken by the name of Asmodean would have done. But other Forsaken had to step in because Asmo's being a typical rock star and can't show up to a concert on time. So let me just list a few of these things because this is really all I took off points for. It's just I wanted to see Asmodean one way or another. But it's like let's see. We need somebody, a Forsaken, to teach Rand. Well, that was Asmo's job in the books. And maybe he'll get a chance to. Maybe in season 4 he'll get a chance to. Maybe he'll show up then. But for now, Sammy will do. That's fine. Need someone to give Couladin tattoos. Well, that's Asmodean in the books. Wait, we'll have to have Lanfear do it because Asmodean's not here. Do we need a Forsaken to die at the hands of a fellow female Forsaken? It's a triple F.
Yeah.
And that too was Asmodean in the books. But no, wait, Samuel do here as well. Can you imagine being an actor and being hired for 3 episodes? And through the course of those 3 episodes, you get to say about 7 lines and you get killed twice. I mean, come on. What a gig. This guy landed a fantastic gig. I love it. In all seriousness, though, this episode was quite emotional for me because losing Swan was a tough pill for me to swallow. I didn't know what they were going to do with the whole Moiraine thing up until the end because, I mean, they were said, they really, I was a sucker. They set me up real good. I thought this conversation between Moiraine and Rand means this is the end for Moiraine. And I thought, boy, that's telegraphing it an awful lot, but you know, that's the way. And I guess I should have seen that as a deception. But still, I thought it was a fantastic episode. There were a lot of things different from the books, not just the Forsaken thing. Didn't mind it all. This show can do whatever the heck it wants, and I'll probably still watch it when it comes back, if it comes back. Hopefully it will. Folks, we want to know what you would rate it. I'm done here, but you can still always contact Double P. And don't forget, Andor Season 2 is coming up, so be sure to stay subscribed or to subscribe to the Double P Media YouTube channel because they're going to be covering, I'm assuming you and Catfish are going to be covering Andor Season 2, right, Bubba?
That's right.
All right. So they're going to be covering Season 2 of Andor, one of the best Star Wars live action things I think that's out there. That's coming up in just another week. So be sure to check out Double P Media at the word double, the letter P, the word media on YouTube, or you can reach out to them about any of your Wheel of Time comments regarding this series. Stay away from book stuff with Bubba. We're gonna not let him read book 3 now. So just say hello to Bubba at the word double, the letter PHQ on that. And you can always leave comments for Priscilla on her YouTubes at Priscilla TV1. She's already got a review out for the finale episode on that channel. And I think you're gonna do a season recap or season ender, right, Priscilla?
Yeah. Yes, I'm planning to do like some live event.
Yeah.
With next week, possibly, yes.
If you're of the emailing type, you can always reach out to Double P Media at, hello at Double P Media. Let's move on to taking our fifth. It's the best scene in the episode, or what we thought was the best scene.
Okay, I'll jump in and I'll start right at the very end. How do you end a season? There's a million ways. It can end on a big triumph. It can end on a heartbreak. It can end on a tease for what's to come. For me, one good way to end a season or an episode is with a uh-oh moment. I thought the season ended on a wonderful moment of Egwene telling Rand, hey, let go of the one power. Stop channeling the one power, Rand. You gotta let go. You gotta let go. That Rand face and him not letting go, to me, it was a wonderful uh-oh moment. And I thought it was great. And I thought it definitely makes you, if season 4 existed right now, every human being on Earth would hit next episode. I loved it.
I love that you bring that up because it's made even more weighty by the fact that everywhere in the world, people are seeing the clouds being gathered. He's not just doing it there. He's pulling that energy in from everywhere. If you're on a boat, if you're in Tarvalon, if you're in the Two Rivers, clouds are gathering. The Gathering Storm, a nice book reference there that I absolutely loved. Great call, Bubba. What about you, Priscilla?
Well, it has to be Rand and Moiraine, where Rand finally thanks Moiraine for being ruthless and not listening to him when he was just a child throwing a tantrum. So this almost made me like him again, because the last time we saw him, he was cheating on Egwene with her torturer. So that was quite a terrible move on his part. I was not a big fan of it, but yeah, now that he can admit that Moiraine was completely right in not listening to him for the first 2 seasons, yeah, I think it was a good thing.
Yeah,
Aww.
well, I agree. That scene got me, but like I said, I have a little bit more distaste for it because it completely fooled me. I thought, oh, that's it, Moiraine's gone. And given what I know about the actress moving from Prague and all of that stuff, I was sure this was going to be the end for Moiraine. Completely wrong, but I will say that for me, the cutting in between what's happening to Swan at the tower and what's happening in Alcair Dal with Moiraine and Lan and lanfear was absolutely magnificent. There was a lot of emotion in that, and wow. Rosamund Pike, after she felt Sophia Okonedo's death, that just ripped me apart. I just rose my hands up to the ceiling and screamed myself. It was awful. Very effective for me. So let's go to our topics. Where do we want to start, Priscilla? You just pick one.
Let's just go to Tanchico. I hate the city. Let's just be done with it.
Okay. Well, what did you think of the Finn? I mean, we've all called them Thundercats. I prefer to think of it more like a kind of a blue version of the Grinch, or a blue version of Skimbleshanks from Cats. I could even hear him singing, memories, I shall take them from you.
Aww.
But it will cost you once you leave the door. I thought that would definitely was going to happen, and it didn't. Instead, we get this really annoying freaking growl. It's going to replace the Pat and Fane whistle every time that we see that darn foxhead medallion pendant on Matt. We're probably going to hear that little or whatever. It sounded like a cat puking up a fur ball. But I don't know, Priscilla, tell me what you thought your impressions of the Elfin was. And also keep in mind that evidently Elida was seeing the other version of that. Bubba, I'm going to inform you of this. There are two versions of these creatures, right?
No, I was aware somehow, not during the show. During the show, this felt like somebody was pulling something out of their cat's behind, or excuse me, a fox behind. But afterward, I saw that there's like a ale-fin and an elfin. Is that correct?
Right. That is correct. And the ones that Elida visited evidently was the Aelfin. If you look at that bracelet that she came back with that we've seen earlier in the season, it has a snake figure on it. So those are the snakes. What Matt encountered was the Aelfin, which are the foxes. And you notice that he had a fox head medallion around his neck when he came out. So these are the two different kinds of creatures. And I'll talk more about Elida's experience. But totally shocked. I didn't think they were going to do it, Bubba. I really didn't. I thought that they were going to find some way to skip it. I thought, okay, well, Matt's kind of fashioned his own Ashendari. Nope, not true. Did you see the spear in the door that Matt's rope was hanging from?
Yeah, people had mentioned it online. That's right.
Yeah. So that was evidently the Ashendari, because Rafe made sure to point that out as well. And that's a certain kind of weapon that Matt is famous for wielding in the book. So of course, once he's on the boat, there's no evidence that he took it with him, but it could just be in his cabin,
it's in his
somewhere.
suitcase.
Yeah. He probably just stowed it away. So this was really cool for me. It was a nice surprise. Sometimes you get a little bit confused. It's like the foxes and the snakes have two different functions. One usually offers answers to questions, and the other one usually gives gifts. And Matt experienced the foxes where he got the gifts. And it's unclear to me because the same word promises were used with Elida. So I don't know if that means that she was also given. I mean, she obviously came out with the bracelet.
I understood that, like, because of the dialogue with the what is called the white sister.
Alviarin. Yeah.
Alviarin. That okay, and Alviarin said, yeah, but they always give you something, but they want something back. There's always a prize that she mentioned. So what is the prize for you?
Yeah.
So I took that they are working very similarly in the series.
Yeah, that would make more sense. I was kind of wondering, Elida had that terrible. I mean, since we're just talking about the Finns in general, I guess I'll do this. Since Elida had that kind of really bad fit, yeah. I wonder if that's part of the price for what she got from the Aelfin.
That's my understanding. Like that they gave her some advantage. Like the foretelling would be an advantage, but there is a downside. But it can also be, I don't know, something else that we don't know.
Could be
because the scene, like she was removing the armband, right? And then she started shaking. I remember that she was removing the gift.
Oh, I didn't notice that part. That would make sense.
Would you book readers assume that somehow, some way, Elida ending up, in the chair, is that really the Aelfin providing it, or did the Aelfin do nothing?
Well, it's a good question. The truth of the matter is that if she saw the snakes, then her gifts were actually just being told what would happen. And I think it was her fault that she mistook that she would win over Swan, but they were basically telling her that this time around would happen, even though she didn't know it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense? I don't know.
A little bit. How about this as the non-book reader here? You were talking a second ago, Matt, you thought the show wouldn't do it. Now that the show is going there, are you super excited? Priscilla, are you super excited that we're going to have these foxes and these snakes? What do you think?
I don't think they're coming back, are they?
I would assume we haven't
weird.
seen the snakes. I'd assume we'd almost have to see them.
I mean, like, if we are talking spoilers, I'm just in the book 4, and Matt is not that impressed with them.
Okay.
I'm not
Matt
very
is not-
impressed with the knowledge yet.
Yeah, he's like, oh, they're assholes. And
Oh, no.
I don't know. Yeah.
Can I just say, and I won't say how, I do believe that they will play an important role in the end game. And that's about all I can say.
Okay.
Well, but then, like, if we're getting more seasons, then they're just appearing the final season. That's okay. But it's like the whole design was a little bit crazy to me. I thought it was awful. And
I was looking for a star-shaped room. I didn't really get that vibe.
And I don't know. I don't know if I want to see this guy again.
He's quite creepy, and he evidently smells, according to Matt. So
it can happen.
It can happen. Smells like the fox's den by the old wisdom's home. Ooh.
Well, okay, we've gone so far into this red arch, this red doorway, that it feels like we took the show's bait and went in this thing that to me really felt pretty much out of the blue. We're missing kind of the big picture, the villains and the season with all 3 pieces they need to collar a male channeler.
Priscilla predicted that. That's a double P.
Heck yeah. And Liandrin and Mogi seem to have come to, if not a true partnership, a temporary partnership, a mutual, hey, we're not going to destroy each other right now partnership, which is very fascinating for what's going forward. Were you guys happy to see Liandrin kind of weasel her way into a partnership?
I think Liandrin, she's playing the game, but let's remember that she's already said that to lanfear. So she's now saying to Moghedien, hey, can you speak with your boss? Can you recommend me to this new opening? Can you vouch for me? It's going to be good for you because I'm going to entry level, so you're going to be automatically bumped up a little bit. So can you do it for me, girl? Can you do it? But she's already like in cohorts with lanfear too.
And once lanfear sews her head back on, her own head back on, then I'm sure that she's gonna, if she finds out, she's not gonna be happy.
No.
But yeah, I liked it. I liked it. It's kind of a new little twist that they've put in Liandrin, her ability to deal with the Forsaken, not quite on a level. Remember that Moghedien is supposed to be the weakest, even though they all say Sammy is the weakest. Moghedien was supposed to be the weakest. So maybe Liandrin feels like she's got a better chance with this one than she does with lanfear, because ain't no crossing lanfear, as you can very well see by the end of this episode.
Yeah, but she's doing it. She's crossing lanfear.
Exactly right.
So
well, they can't end well for her then.
These evil Forsaken, so good. And let me say that, I did predict that they would have all the pieces of these things to capture a male channeler with at the end of the season. What I assumed would also happen was that Nynaeve would break through whatever was blocking her and she'd be able to use the one power again. Even though I predicted it and the story told me that this was something that kind of needed to happen, I thought it was a great moment. It was a great moment seeing her, almost being taunted in her death. Yeah, tell everybody I killed the greatest channeler when I threw the chain around her and dumped her in the sea. And then for Nynaeve to, part the waves. Incredible. I loved that part. That was my favorite part of this city that Priscilla doesn't like, Tanchico.
Bubba, I want to apologize to you. I gave Priscilla credit for that prediction as a double P, but I should give it a double B.
Double B?
Yeah, Bubba blustering.
Wow.
So I apologize. Good on you for making that prediction, because I would have never thought that would have happened. So just based on my book knowledge, I would have.
Hey, do you want to get to my prediction about Moiraine, which was completely correct?
Well, your prediction about Moiraine was also completely correct. So
yeah.
I don't care about Nynaeve unblocking herself.
Why?
Whoa, ice cold Priscilla.
Yeah, because it's too late. It's too late now. I mean, she took 3 seasons and she lost everything.
Too late? Let me tell you something. This is happening 3 books early. It just doesn't happen for her until book 7.
Even know. We don't even know if we're getting a 4th season. So for all I know, this is the last we might see her. So
That's true.
So
well, you want your characters that you love to go out on a good note, even if it is their last appearance on television. So for me, this is a wonderful, victorious moment for Nynaeve.
How is this a good note? How is this a good note? She's
overcome a personal thing.
She always overcomes something when it's like about saving her life or saving Lan's life, and she always never she never overcomes anything when it's about anything else.
Look, over all of season 2, everybody kept saying surrender, 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 except Liandrin. And finally, she says to herself, surrender. She's ready to die. She's ready to give up and die when she's underwater. She surrenders to it, and that's what breaks her.
And then she hears the voice of her fake daughter, right?
Oh, that's right. The daughter from the Arches. I loved that, Priscilla. I thought it was great.
It made me wonder.
I felt nothing, and I'm a mother. I felt nothing. I felt, come on, Nynaeve. Come on. You keep being grumpy all the time. And then you try to convince a dark friend, a Black Aja person that actually tried basically to sold Elayne and Egwene off.
They ran out of time.
She was this close of getting things done, but she had to go there. She had to try to convince Liandrin to join their side. Because Liandrin had a son once. What logic does it's not logic? I mean, I don't know. I'm without words. I cannot express how annoyed and nerved I was that Nynaeve lost her time, lost everybody else's time trying to do this thing.
Man, we're gonna go tell you
nitpicker.
Yeah, we're gonna go tell your daughters how little you care.
I think it's contrary to the character I came to know Nynaeve. Nynaeve is a character she cannot even look at Moiraine's face. She hates Moiraine, cannot look at Moraine's face. And Moiraine is technically on her side, right? But she keeps giving Liandrin second, third chances. She didn't even fight Liandrin at the tower.
Nope, exactly.
I don't understand why. Just because Liandrin was nice to her a couple of times? So it doesn't seem to me like something that Nynaeve would do. Nynaeve is hard as nails. She wouldn't lose her time trying to convince Liandrin. So I didn't like that part at all.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, all right. This is good debate we're having here.
Yeah. I just found it emotional.
Okay.
They put a daughter that never exists in her head to sell the scene, a scene that should not be there in the first place.
She lived that. That's part of who she is now.
That's not how women's mind and emotions work.
Okay, can I make a prediction that is going to be completely wrong? Again, I have not read the books. Priscilla, you've not read past book 4, right? So here is a crazy prediction. After, theoretically, the heroes win, isn't there a part of you that, Nynaeve saw her happy life? There's a part of me that if she conquers the villains and everything's good at the end, there's a part of me that wants to tell Nynaeve, go into the Arches and go live in your dream world and be happy. That's my happy ending for Nynaeve at the end of this series.
Why not live out your arch dream in real world?
Because it's too late. You've gone through 14 books. You're destroyed. You need to go back through the Arches to live it.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Great prediction. Elayne was as Priscilla pointed out earlier, was kind of the star of this episode for me there. I mean, other than I
Oh,
really like the Nynaeve.
really?
I really like the
Really?
Nynaeve thing. Come on, look at how quickly she learned how to use that Terangrial with the balefire.
It came natural to her. She was a natural.
She's a gal that was taking apart clocks at 5 years old. Much to, I'm sure every person who worked in the palace, I'm sure that they were quite upset with her for doing so. But she is a person, and this is a perfect example. She saw the Terangrial. She saw Jean try to use it once or twice, and the next time, the first time it's in her hands, she instantly knows how to use it and use it correctly. On the other hand, that balefire stuff, I loved that effect. Because as she used it on Jean, you saw all the things that Jean had done with the balefire before being undone. You even saw the shadow of her behind Elayne when she first used the balefire, and the ceiling repair itself. So this balefire is a very special thing, which is why Liandrin was so careful with it, telling Jean, put that away. At the beginning of the episode, because this thing, what it does is it completely wipes what any person or thing that has been used. It kind of doesn't really wipe it out of the pattern, but it wipes it out of time. And so everything that person did, if it's used on a person like Jean, gets undone.
Wow.
So
now, Matt, this thing.
Technically, the man that Jean killed is now
would be alive again. Yeah.
Remember?
Even though we never saw it on screen.
Yeah, but Min said that Jean would kill that man.
Which means Min's visions are wrong.
Yeah, okay.
They're always seemingly incomplete, that's for sure.
They are definitely that.
Let me try to take some things out of my chest. This is our last podcast together, and this is the last episode of Wheel of Time, the series at this point, because we have not confirmed season 4. So, and I think you're feeling that I was too hard on Nynaeve. I was not too hard on Nynaeve. I'm hard on Nynaeve's plot and characterization, especially if you compare to Elayne, because they are supposed to be bouncing off each other, right?
Are they? I mean, in the show, who knows?
They haven't done that in a while on the show. Yeah.
Listen. On the first episodes, when they were establishing this dynamic on the first episodes, because they were working together to figure out what was the truth behind the Black Aja.
Mm-hmm.
And they were bouncing out of each other, and it seemed okay. I was intrigued. I was okay. Now I know that they are embarking a lot of adventures in the books, and you can see their relationship, the dynamic developing. And
but all that went out the window as soon as Elayne started telling everybody about Tanchico, and all Nynaeve wanted to do was puke.
That's what I was trying to say. So we had this. I was hopeful. I was hopeful that we would get that when we are in Tanchico. Instead, Nynaeve kind of disappears. It turns into the Elayne show, which is great. I love Elayne, and I love what they are doing. But Nynaeve and keeps basically minimizing Elaine's attempts at doing something. Doesn't add anything to it. In fact, in the end, she detracts it. And then the realization is that Elayne, that the supposedly impractical princess that doesn't know anything about life, who is years younger than Nynaeve, she actually accomplishes more than Nynaeve is accomplishing at this point. And I was trying to, I don't know, I was led to believe that they are going to be like this magic duo that are solving crimes together. But once they arrive in Tanchico, they barely spend time together. And the only time that they spend together, they get like, with Moghedien. So I was literally, I'm being frustrated with this Tanchico that I was waiting for so long. And that's why I'm so, worked out. Because I thought it was a complete failure from Nynaeve's perspective. She should never have gone to Tanchico. In fact,
keep going.
If Nynaeve would have stayed behind, she probably could have helped Swan, because Elayne and Matt and me, they did everything that they have to do in Tanchico with the help of Tom. So nobody missed Nynaeve there. Oh, okay, she would be unblocked. Bullocks, her block and unblock now at the last minute of the last episode, and we don't even know if we are going to have a season 4 to have this unblock payoff. So, boo, Nynaeve.
Wow.
Paid off for her. Come on, man. Have a little humility. Wow.
Never.
Boo. Boo.
Never.
You.
Hold on. Now, can I get...
Never.
I'm going to go
Yes,
on my
you go
rant.
You go ahead.
Priscilla had her rant. Now's my rant. That I'm a typical stupid man. That actress who plays Jean is beautiful. She didn't have anything to do. Give her more. Undo the balefire so we can see Jean again. No.
Yeah, she's removed from time, dude. She was never there. That's the thing you got to know now. You never saw her. She doesn't exist.
I don't know her.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry again. I don't hate Nynaeve. I just hate Nynaeve's plot this season.
So do many book people through about book 8.
No, I'm talking about the season.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Nynaeve's story in general.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So
let's see. What else about Tanchico here? Bubba, you got anything else? Oh, you know what?
Matt, you have to say.
Matt and Min, we got to talk about this. We've already talked about the Finn a lot. But,
and Tom.
Min's got CPR training, evidently.
Yeah.
Lucky strike.
I think I like the way they explain Tom's concern about Elayne. I really like it. Okay. I think it was effective. It didn't waste much time, and they were having a meaningful conversation while doing something also meaningful. So I like when the show is not wasting time. They are doing 2 things at the same time and telling the story. And this, I think, they managed to do properly. And I really like Jean talking trash about more gays.
That was fun. The one thing that I know you're off on this whole Nynaeve kick, but it's like, shouldn't Leandra know that what the collar looks like? She's been with the Shan. She knows what they use. So she's got it literally in her hand. You would think that as a channeler of the one power, she would feel it. At one point when she's in that room, she throws it down, and then Nynaeve sees it and instantly recognizes it because she's used one before. But you would think that she would feel it with the one power, and yet she gets all frustrated because it doesn't look like the painting and walks off. That was really a poor plot device to me.
Leandrine had lots in her mind. Let's just say that.
So we're going to excuse that, but we're not going to excuse Nynaeve for overcoming the single greatest trauma.
Leandrine was busy thinking about how she could pump it up her resume for the next step in her career as a dark friend.
Fair enough.
And Nynaeve was, being Nynaeve.
So everybody knew that Tom was going to be the one to tell Elayne that Lord Gabriel didn't exist. That was pretty easy to call if you'd read any of the books at all. It was not really organic, but I love that Tom evidently has made a promise to look after her. Who he made it to, I guess, more gays. I don't know.
to himself. He
Oh.
said, I will look after this small girl, this little girl.
I honestly thought they were going to set it up to where Tom goes off and faces another undefeatable foe, and then we don't see him again for 2 seasons or something.
That would be nice.
Ah! Meanie! Gosh, you're just so full of hate today. Hate for 8. That's what we're going to start calling Priscilla. Hate for 8. Yes.
Listen,
Boo.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
You're joking about Nynaeve too then, right?
No, I'm very pissed about her plot, to be honest.
Okay. Well, tell me how you feel. Tell me how frustrated you feel after you get to book like 7.
No, I don't. It's not that. I'm talking about.
To me, it represents it perfectly.
I'm talking about something that I feel that it could have done better. Okay. In a series, in a season that has improved on so many levels, so many things, and has been improving and improving and improving, they still couldn't figure out what to do in Nynaeve, and they were this close to figuring out in the first half of the season because they were. I really liked. She wasn't doing enough a lot, but her attitude and the way that she was integrated in the plot of the White Tower and how she was working with Elayne made me hopeful. And then in Tanchico, it was like this mess. And they actually tried to give her like a little bit time with Min, but it also didn't work that well.
She got drunk. She's never been drunk before in her life.
It was really like they just had to put her with Min because Elayne had to have time with Tom, and they only have 8 episodes, so they couldn't. They had to pick and choose the things that they had to go.
Well,
and
do you want Zoe Robin singing, or do you want Kiara Coveney singing? I think that's what that question was about.
I want nobody singing. I want people. I'm like Bubba this season. I want more action. No, that's not true.
Okay, Bubba, any final thoughts about Tanchico before we move on?
It was fun. It's interesting. It's characters we care about, but outside of maybe necessarily Elayne, I'm not sure what anybody's main story in season 4 will be. I assume Nynaeve will still be attacking the Liandrin and Mogi and that team, but Elayne, they really did set up good for season 4. She's got to get home and she's got to save her mom from this person who's invading her mom's brain.
How would Tom know that only a Forsaken could do that?
I mean, Matt has a good storyline for season 4 too. I feel.
Sorry, what I didn't pick up a direct. Oh, he's going to do blank. What do you think that is? I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Well, he's healed. He won't have the problems that he has.
I think he's got to spend part of the season getting the memories that he wants back. Seems like he's kind of got his slate cleaned. On top of that, maybe now that he's visited these magical creatures, he'll know how to use chopsticks. I can't remember what they call them in the book, but yeah,
that'll be his final boss power. His final boss will be Noodles, so he'll have to defeat him.
He'll be twitching chopsticks in one hand, holding the Ashendari with the other, and thrusting
blowing the horn too.
No, Swan took care of that.
So Tom Merrily, maybe he met a Forsaken before. That's what you meant, right?
Maybe he has.
I think so.
All I want to know is, how does he know so much about the one power that he knows that only a Forsaken would use compulsion?
Well, his nephew was a channeler, so he obviously, in order to help his nephew, he studied a lot.
That makes sense. I can accept that. Good. We got that one wrapped up. Okay, so the Tower or the Threefold Land? Which one do you guys want to do?
I think we should do the Tower next and save the Threefold Land for the end. If only because, have they ever said the Threefold Land on the show? I keep calling it the Aiel Waste, but we'll get to that.
As all wetlanders do.
Thank you. That's me. Okay, well, let's go to the tower because I know this was a big moment for many, many people. For me, I talk about all these predictions I got right when I watched that episode a couple weeks ago, where the Gray Man was attacking Elida, and she was saved by Swan. I thought I would bring them together. Obviously, I was completely wrong. That prediction failed. This was a coup. This was like they want to chop the head off the head of power out and take that position, and they did it. Dang, it upset a lot of people, but I think it was supposed to upset a lot of people. And Elida is not as far as we can tell, really isn't a Black Aja. She's just maybe got a black soul.
Matt, remember when we were trying to figure out who would rescue Swan in the spoilers section?
Yeah.
That's
Nobody got anything right, did we?
We never
There was
even
no
realized,
rescuing
okay,
Swan.
maybe there is no rescuing. Yeah. That's the answer. So that's
Yeah.
why Min is not there. That's
Yeah, that's why nobody was there. Not even Galad or Gowan.
Nobody was there for Swan.
They were kind of absentee voters.
Literally no one, because all her friends were out.
What a clever trick by Elida, sending some of her fellow Red Aja out to make some of Swan's greatest allies, the only people she can trust, send them out and away so that she would be in a position of less power. Although Leanne was there, but quite ineffective. Although I don't think that Leanne has been killed because we haven't seen her die. Swan, on the other hand, man, that was so emotional for me.
No,
not even so much with Swan. I mean, that was a great speech, but it was Moiraine's reaction to it, and that the whole reason Moiraine felt that was because they had done that oath together. Remember, Moiraine said, "I swear to you."
Yeah, they were married.
Yeah. Well, she said, I swear to you on the oath rod. And so that created that bond between them. So it was almost kind of like a warder bond in the fact that she knew instantly when Swan was gone because that oath was released. I loved that. I thought that was a fantastic way to do it. It surprised me a little bit. And then I had to think about it. And then I realized how that worked. But really cool. Poor Swan. What a speech, man. Daughter of the river.
I was thinking it might cut through to some people. Obviously, at this point, not Elida, but I thought it might cut through to other people in the room. But sadly, it worked for me as an audience member. It didn't work for anybody in the room.
Everybody that was sitting there had already agreed to a coup, so they don't care, obviously.
Well, not just a coup, but to an execution. Wow.
Well, I think if you're dealing with Elida and you know what happened in Andor, because we had a flashback, so we know what happened in Andor. So she has to eliminate the competition and her enemies as she sees. But I think Leanne, I think she survives, and I think because the Tanchico crew, they are supposedly sailing back to Tar Valon, right? So they are going to arrive there, and Swan is not there. So.
And Elayne's got that ter'angreal. They were going to return it to the tower, but will they not now?
No, of course not.
Oh, man, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Yeah, crazy.
Can I say, Matt, that I think this storyline, like all the others, I subtracted 2 points from this episode, and it wasn't even so much about this episode, but I think this storyline really could have used a bit more time to breathe, a bit more really wheeling and dealing and letting us know that, there are enough people in the tower for this coup to take place. And then there's a part of me, I keep saying there are only 8 episodes. We spent all this time on, not too much time, but we did spend time on Elayne's brothers becoming warders, and they've just disappeared. There's been a coup and they aren't paying attention or anything. This is crazy.
Bubba, you don't want to see more of them.
Well, we saw some of them. They seemingly had nothing to do with this year's storyline, and they're all set up for future storylines. And it was odd that we met them, and they had nothing to do with this coup plot at all.
Cutting room floor, man. I think that a lot of the tower stuff ended up getting cut. I know for a fact that Rafe has talked about a particular scene that got cut from this episode that would help fill in some gaps. Not necessarily about those two, but at least about would help fill in some gaps. So I agree. They really invested in the whole Rand and let's try and fake you out and think that Moiraine's going to die thing. And I think every other storyline suffered. I think Tanchico suffered because of that a little bit. But I'm not complaining. I might have done it differently, but I can't imagine being smart enough to do any of it. So there you go. What else about the tower? Oh, what about Elyda's bling? She just keeps upping the game. My God, that little crown she was wearing, and of course she's staying in her red. You know, when Swan's a blue, but she always just wore the gold of the Amyrlin. You see Egwene when she's in her accepted test in the future, just wearing gold. No, not Elyda. She's keeping the red on and just wearing the gold. Another thing that I really liked was when they showed in the flashback from 10 years before, all the shawls. I thought that, I don't mean to make this about a costume podcast, but I mean, all those shawls were so wonderful. And they did something, thank God, they cut something from Robert Jordan's traditions about voting for the Amyrlin seat that I'm glad they cut. I'll just put it like that. Because once again, I think that Robert was writing for the 14-year-old in himself sometimes.
How long is it going to take Elyda to really rid the tower of all that river trash? All that river trash stuff. That was, she needs to go to IKEA, clean house.
Well, she already got rid of that wonderful Terran Grial, the mirror Terran Grial.
Box that crap up.
Speaking of which, did you notice that the picture that Swan was looking at when she was in her desk and then she looked at that mirror?
Yep.
That was probably a charcoal drawing of Moiraine. And then she put it in this little box. Like. So, I mean, what other kind of secrets does Swan have in that little box? I think we saw her put a message or two in there as well earlier in the season. So
I think we saw in this episode that she was writing something.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and she was writing letters, I think.
Yeah, but those were to be sent out in declaration of the Dragon Reborn, is what I got the reading from, and that's why Leanne was protesting about it, because Leanne was saying, no, you can't just go out and write these. You need to put this to a vote. And Swan said, okay, I hear you. Bye. So she's the orchestrator of her own demise in a lot of ways. Poor Swan is.
Yeah. Well, aren't we? Wow.
True enough.
Heck yeah.
True enough. Any last thoughts about the tower stuff? Bubba, you got anything?
No, but I love doing my non-book reader predictions. So obviously, Elyda has a stated goal. Cage. Gentle. What was it? Cage the Dragon Reborn.
Yep.
So that is her goal. So, but now Rand has an army. Boy, what if, quote unquote, the good guys, meaning the Aes Sedai and the Aiel followers of Rand, are fighting each other, which will do nothing but help the bad guys? Ooh, that's sadly what I see happening in season 4.
That's an excellent question. I think you're onto something there. Priscilla, any last thoughts about the tower? Anybody want to bash here?
Well, why are you pretending that I'm like this hateful person? I'm not. I just shared my thoughts and I was passionate.
You hate the writers, evidently. You hate the writers.
I hate nobody. I just have a lot of love in my heart and I love it. Everything is just that I was disappointed and I expressed my disappointment.
Okay.
Just that. Okay.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Tell us your story.
About the tower, I mean, We got to see the cool, so that was cool. I don't care about Elayne's brothers, so like the last time, better with them. And Elida, I knew that Swan would regret saving Elida, and I cannot say that I don't think it was warranted from Elida's perspective. From Elida's perspective, she's doing something very, very good.
From Elida's perspective, she's never wrong. So
yeah,
my way or the highway.
Man,
Yeah,
I can relate to that.
But
yes, we know.
Like, I mean, she has a sitter that might not have her back. So who knows? Who knows?
I love that they've developed Alviarin, because Alviarin is kind of her right hand for a long time in the books. So that worked really well.
And possibly lanfear is coming back to Tar Valon. So
yeah, when we get, I took a screenshot of her when she opened her gateway, and it sure looked like Tar Valon to me.
It does look like Tar Valon to me also.
I mean, the only other place I could think of that would be even close to that would be Caemlyn, but we didn't see enough Caemlyn to be able to really know. I would just think, I would think it might be Caemlyn, because she's just made this agreement with Robin over Sam's, whatever spiderweb blood. But all she needs to do is just crawl off somewhere and die, and then the saw will bring her back anyway. So
yeah, that's true.
Just like it did with Sammy. Speaking of which, let's get into the tower.
You mean into the threefold lane?
Or into the threefold lane. Moiraine has learned how to tie off a shield. How did she learn to do that?
As the non-book reader, I have no idea.
Yeah, me either.
It did.
As a book reader, I have no idea.
It's good. He's a villain. We didn't know what happened to him. The show let us know what happened to him.
And there were no Aiel guarding him at all. I mean,
when you're like that, apparently they don't need any.
Was she keeping it a secret from everybody that he was still alive? That's the only thing I can think of, is that she was trying to keep it a secret from the Aiel, because Sammy came in and killed quite a few Aiel.
Right. Well, she might have been keeping it a secret, because aren't we supposed to believe that she still feels like somebody's got to help train Rand control the male half of the One Power?
Yeah. And since Logain evidently is not in play anymore, we need Asmodean. No, wait, Sammy will do. No, wait, Sammy's dead, because he's also doing the other role for Asmodean.
Can I say something about Ciamael, which you seem to have? You feel like you're about to have a Priscilla rant about Ciamael. Like, I personally thought there was this little bit of dialogue where it was like, Ciamael, you were from this age and you have this scar on your face. I want him to see me, this scar, when I kill him. Like, at the time, I thought, this dude's dead. He's going to die. I knew it. And so I'm like, you've only got 8 episodes. Why are you giving us this silly backstory for a character who's about to get iced? And to me, it was a bit of a thing where if you know you only got 8 episodes, you got to kill your darlings. And so killing Ciamael, I don't have a problem with it. But giving the audience his backstory for kind of no reason when he's about to get killed, it's wasted. It might have only been 60 seconds. It was wasted 60 seconds.
It was book service.
It to stories.
It was book service.
I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I understand. And it really didn't matter to me one way or another. But I got a feeling it was just book service. Here's what we know about Ciamael from the books, and let's put it all in one small info dump real quick.
Before you kill someone, I think it's good to have a spotlight on this person. So that's what I
didn't feel that way when it was like I knew, once again, I have not read the books. I'm paying attention to the show. The story the show is telling me said this guy was going to die. Like, I just knew it. I didn't know how, I didn't know why, but I knew this guy was going to die. And so giving me his backstory, what 10 minutes real time before he's dead? Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. It is good, but they didn't give Jean, for example, they didn't give Jean any backstory. She was just this, white hair striped woman who kind of cackled and then got taken out. And in some ways, I know Samael is a Forsaken, but we've got 8 episodes.
Bubba, I
That
don't
time
know
could
who
be
you're talking
spent better
about.
elsewhere.
Who's this Jean that you keep talking about? She's been Balefired. She's gone from my memory.
Okay, thank you for explaining Balefire so perfectly. What is Balefire? Zap. Wait, what? I don't remember. I have no idea.
Look, in theory, I understand, but Samael was such a stupid character anyway, so I don't care that you wasted 20 seconds trying to give him some sort of dimension before killing him. I understand why they tried to do it, and it was just 10 seconds, so it didn't,
What I loved about it was the scene that it set up between Lanfear and Robin meeting there. Because, wow.
Yeah, and Lanfear's outfit in that scene, back to costuming, crazy. Her hair in that scene, crazy, wicked, Forsaken.
It was the eyeshadow stuff for me. I was just like, whoa, she's mean again. And then
I love that Raven clocked immediately that she got dumped. That was her getting dumped outfit. Oh, you're dressing very strangely. Oh, you got dumped again.
And see, that didn't work out for you, did it? Yeah, exactly.
Typical lanfear.
Yeah.
She got this close of getting the boy, but couldn't.
Yeah. What else? Who wants to tackle the next subject?
What is the next subject?
Any subject you want about the threefold land.
So how did you like Lan's storyline, Matt?
Yeah, that is a great question because you've been a big Lan fan.
No, let's be honest, because last season, Matt was ranting about Lan. So now he's pissed because I was ranting about Nynaeve. So I'm just covering for Matt this season. So
okay, so here's what's my read on it. First of all, didn't know that your soul could just be taken out of your body like that if you broke your dark oaths. That was a new one on me.
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Oh, I thought it was cool. Bubba, you probably remembered this from book 2. That was kind of Inktar's thing, is that he was trying to make a certain country great again.
Yes. Yes. I don't sometimes put 2 and 2 together, but I guess it did. It does make sense that that's like an Inktar thing in the book.
Right.
But seeing it on the show like this, I thought it was powerful. Again, I thought this storyline needed more room to breathe, but in 8 episodes, apparently we got to learn the backstory of this knucklehead, what's his name, Ishamael, instead of this. But once again, it obviously, as soon as they reintroduced it in the beginning of this season, it sets up Lan has to be a leader for his people. Makes perfect sense. This is going to be another call to action of, hey, I've got to be a leader to my people. This is great.
Right. And the Melinda character, and I'm not saying that they won't do some other version of this in the future, but in the books, the Melinda character is just kind of a love interest of someone with the traveling party, and is secretly a dark friend, and then just suddenly comes out and starts trying to kill people. So they didn't disservice her in that way, but the fact that they made her Malkier does kind of fuel Lan's storyline a little bit. And I loved how fierce Lan was with Lanfear. Ain't no way I'm that brave. No way. Ain't no way I'm that brave. And they work together great as a team. Moiraine, like, shooting at one power, so she's got to shield that, leaving her backside open so that Lan can slash her leg. Come on. That's teamwork, baby.
They had been building up to this wonderful battle, and I know we're leaving Lan a bit behind, but they have been building up to these two. This alliance was never going to hold. And in this episode, it didn't hold, and these two powerful female warriors battling. Brilliant. Great. I loved it.
I loved how they I mean, they used Rand to try and goad Lanfear before so that they could ambush her. It didn't work because Lanfear's too smart, because she instead went to Melindra and said, hey, time to call in your chips. So I thought that was exciting, seeing them get ready. And then very predictable that she didn't show up. But I didn't realize that Melindra had her allegiance to Lanfear. I just thought she had Dark Friend allegiances. But
did you catch like Moiraine, like that Rand is getting even more Lewis, like, because he immediately assumed that Lanfear would come, and then Moiraine said, I don't think you are the only thing that she wants, dude. That's
whoa. And it was a real bad breakup. Like, one thing Rand doesn't need the one power to treat his exes terribly.
Yeah, I mean, it was a balefire of words, wasn't it?
I'm saying, I think I'm bad when I ghost a girl, but what Rand does is just brutal.
You ghost girls, Bubba, you're mean.
Of course not.
Yeah, Bubba is a heartbreaker then.
Thank you.
Wow, Bubba. My God. Be nice.
I mean, Bubba, you need to get over that trauma and just surrender so that you can part the sea like Moses. Anyway, so what else we were talking about Moiraine and Lanfear, so let's get back to that. I mean, obviously the emotion of the swan thing is what really got me about it. But the one thing I can't understand is that Sarkhanen is the one thing that Lanfear really wanted. Why didn't she go for that when Moiraine dropped it?
Well, Moiraine knew that she wanted that, or assumed. Yeah, because that's what she tells Rand.
Rand
that's
probably
what
told her. Yeah,
yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what she tells Rand. Don't assume that you're the only thing that she wants. So because that trap failed with Rand, then my reading is like the Sarkhanen was the second best thing. So that's why she knew that she would have to sacrifice herself to protect Rand. She knew that Lanfear would come after that. So while Rand tried to get the IU to agree that he's the Caracal, to accept him, so Moiraine goes off in this fight already embracing the fact that she dies, right? Because that's what she saw in Rhuidean. So she's either die by Rand's hands or by Lanfear's. So she said, okay, then I'm die by Lanfear. No problem. I'm going there. The part that she didn't see was swans dying, right? This was the part of the Rhuidean experience, that it wasn't there. So
right, we didn't see that in the rings at all. No.
So so in the way, that's what changed the story to Moiraine. So Swan kind of not sacrificed herself to save Moiraine,
but the circumstances ended up saving.
Exactly. Okay. So, like, from all the thousand futures that Moiraine saw, she didn't saw that one. That I found fascinating.
Well, she might have, but she might have been so thrilled. Hey, this is the one future I see where I live. So she forgot about Swan. She's like, hey, wait a minute, in one of those, I actually survive.
No, she's always like, she always knew that for Rand to live and succeed, she would have to die. So she was like, that's the way I go.
Mm-hmm. Well, and remember, one of the things she said to Lan this episode was, it may be today, it may be a year from now. But this ain't over yet. This is just a situation, one of the situations that she saw out of many. Remember, she's been killed in the ways. She's been killed in Tar Valon. There are still many of these things that could still happen.
Yeah, but she said, I feel it's today.
Yeah.
That's what she says.
That she saw the most.
Today.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, out of the visions that we saw, 7 out of 10 were there at Al-Kaldar.
Yeah. So she said, I feel it's today. So the thing that changed was Swan dying.
Yeah. Well, see, Elida worked for the light.
Yeah.
She lightened Swan's weight by about 10 pounds.
Yeah, man, that stilling scene. I hate to keep jumping back and forth between topics, but those air knives sticking into her and then just pulling out and pulling all the one power out of her. What an incredible visual effect. The visual effects were really good in this episode. I thought for representing the magic, at least. You know, Rand's always got a storm cloud around him, even when he is doing the air Ciaran and saying make it rain. He's always got that. You always see the taint in his stuff, but they really did everything so good visual effects wise, and that whole fight, the perspective of Lanfear's weave coming towards Moiraine from her backside and then pushing her forward. Man, see good what stuff. You can do with the budget when you want to. I understand there were limitations in season 1. I don't quite understand the limitations of season 2 because I did not like that fire dragon. Yeah. It was middling okay. But this stuff, all season, the magic has looked much better.
We started the season already with a great magic standoff like fight. So it made perfect sense that we would end the season in the same fashion.
True.
Right? Agreed. And I love it. I absolutely love it that they were building to this confrontation since episode 1.
100%.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, do we want to talk about
love it.
Oh, sorry. Do we want to talk about the Corn of Cob? Rand did it.
We're going
he has his army.
But just to close the lanfear Moiraine, I absolutely love it that we even saw futures where they were together and it didn't work out. And
they're still alive. It may still happen.
No, all their meetings, like they were all there trying to figure out ways of controlling Rand and what to do with Rand and like separate Egwene and their alliance, and the things that lanfear made Moiraine accept to, and like it was all. I couldn't change a thing. That's what I was about to say. I couldn't change a thing. And I couldn't not change a thing about the fight. I think the fight was, Matt is completely right. It was amazing. And like Len, I know that he was there and I know that he helped, but I couldn't even remember. It was all about lanfear Moiraine. Even cutting to Swan and back, I was fascinated about what was happening between these two women.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was great. So, but Rand is now the corn of corns, right?
He's a Corn of Cob for sure. And he took out that, mid-level boss to become the Corn of Cob and to unite the Aiel.
No, divide. He divided them.
What was Rand mumbling when he was paying the tow in the garden? Was he saying that girl's name?
Did he? I thought he did once.
Yeah. Okay.
He was saying something.
Yeah. He's kind of mumbling. A couple of times. But
and didn't he possibly see like a fake human being in the distance? Which he saw what I thought was like a human in the distance, and then a second later the human was gone. And so I thought, maybe it's Rand seeing other people, just like the male channeler in the very first scene of the very first episode of season 1 was. That's the way I interpreted it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Going a little mad?
Could be. Once again, I loved how it ended, and that was a sign that I thought he had. He's on a knife's edge of possibly, going just a little bit one way, and I think he will go mad.
The whole Couladin thing didn't come across to me as cool as it does in the books. It's not as Couladin, but
do you think it was cool in the books?
Yeah, because he was such a jerk, and here he just kind of gives up and goes home. Yeah.
I mean, how can he even compete with making raining in the desert? It's like, what does he do? It's like, oh, look at my abs.
Yeah. Well,
He's like,
Well, the fact that his big mistake was actually saying something about what he saw in Iridian, because that ain't what happened. And every one of the Aiel that were leaders that had been through Iridian,
they
knew it immediately that he was a faker. So,
but for the Shaido, it doesn't matter. They are going to follow him anyway, and that's what
was this parting of the sea.
Yeah, that's what Rand meant. Like, you're going to die anyway. So he was like, yeah, go follow this loser. You're going to die anyway if you don't follow me. So why do I care? Well, he should care. Actually,
if Couladin's going to take everybody over the Dragon Wall, will Rand have to assist in stopping him?
That's what I meant. Like, he should care.
Oh man. Okay.
You will create a problem.
Because that's what Couladin said his vision was. He says, we're going over the Dragon Wall. We're taking back what's ours. I don't know what was theirs to begin with, but that's evidently what they're going to try to do. So somebody's got to stop them.
Well, for Rand, they don't matter anymore. So let's kill them.
Well, it might matter if they started invading the two rivers.
Well, but Rand will kill them then. That's what I meant. His whole pitch, Rand's whole pitch was like, listen, guys, I'm here to destroy you. We all know that's the prophecy.
Well, that was the Oathbreaker thing, yeah.
Yeah. How I destroy you is up to you. I can destroy you in the right way, the nice way, or in the bad way. Up to you. Up to you. Oh, Shaido, you want the bad? Okay. Done. So,
well, what if that's the remnant of the remnant that's going to be saved?
Might be his own remnants that he's saving. It's like the only people, the only Aiel that will survive will have Rand blood. Yeah. Rand blood will be King's blood.
How is Egwene taking all of this? As long as we're here, I mean, she's pretty disgusted with the dude at the beginning.
She needs somebody to leave this forsaken place and go back. And I mean, forsaken in a not literal means, but she needs somebody to help her get the F out of D. She needs to go back to Tar Valon, maybe clean house there, hook up with her friends. Rand is not where she wants to be. She should not be around this boy anymore.
I'll just say,
Aviendha says that. Aviendha says that.
If you want to be a hater, Aviendha is an ally, always.
And Aviendha is like, to Egwene, why are you even considering? Why are you even here? You should go. Like, this guy is not for you. He obviously crazy. So yeah, I'm joking that I'm confused about it. I understand Egwene is trying really hard there, but I think there is a limit, and Rand is not even in a way the boy that she met, the boy that she grew up with it. And she knows that. And
I think that's a great way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he told her, but it's very funny because when she comes to call him, that, like, you can see that he's trying to make a connection to her, like trying to like he still feels that he can be vulnerable in front of Egwene. So that's a level of intimacy that Rand is still throwing upon Egwene, like imposing on Egwene. That, hey, I'm really sad about what happened to this little girl. Can you be here for me? And Egwene is trying to build some distance, but on the other hand, she's still there. So it's like mixed signals, right? So I think that in Egwene's head, she is there until the bitter end. And this is already the bitter part. So she's not enjoying it, but she's forcing herself to stay there. And Aviendha is like, dude, no, there is another way out for me. What I saw in Rhuidean, I have to go through it. I have no choice. My people have no choice, but you have choice.
Yeah. I'll give Rand this, though, in defense of Rand.
Oh, here we go.
All the peace negotiators of the world leaders, check out the way Rand does diplomacy. He gives a list of horrible grievances, and then he thanks his enemy for them.
Wow.
You know, that's the way you do it. You say, you killed 100,000 of my people. Thank you. We didn't have enough food to feed them anyway. So let's move on and talk about what we're going to do next. I love that. Was so emotional too. That was fantastic for me. I know that Priscilla, you've already talked about it, but I just wanted to say, man, and it sealed the deal for me that Moiraine was going to die, which was wrong. Thank God. Rosamund Pike, once again, she just killed it this episode. Her reactions, I guess, and then when he said thank you, oh man.
She kind of cried a little bit.
That little tear,
nice, yeah.
man, that got me. Really got me. Just super, when you care about these characters the way a lot of book readers do. And this is something that, for 20 years and 14 books, you've been hoping to hear. Again, something very different. A lot of changes from the books, but man, that like it's like I've been waiting for this since I finished the series, reading the book series. I've been waiting for something like this, just to make it okay in my head, so that I'm not as much of a Rand hater anymore. Yeah,
I mean, it goes with the maturity, right? It goes with the
well, that's true, because in the books he's only like 16, I think, tops, and the story only takes over the course of 2 years, and so he's not mature enough to be able to do that. But since the television show has made years and years happen in 3 seasons, and also, which is a great way for allowing the actors to age up. But it man, got me. Just absolutely got me. Loved it.
And it's just like, are you okay with the Lan and Rand? Like, because you were worried that we would not see the mentorship going on. Obviously, this is a backside from Moiraine and Rand later on, but they showed some level of.
Yeah, I think at least since they showed it and didn't just tell it, they don't have to do it every day. They don't have to do it every episode. It can be implied that it was done every episode after you see it once, but you did have to see it once, and so I was happy with that. I still feel like Lan's story was underserved a little bit, but come on, in the books, Lan doesn't really do much until the later books, so that's okay with me. We'll see what they do with later books when they're adapting later books. Once Sony renews the series.
Sony?
Yeah, Sony
Pictures.
It's
Matt.
It's up to Sony Pictures. It's not going to be it's more so than up to Amazon. Yeah.
What?
Well, Sony makes it and kind of sells it to Amazon and other distribution partners. So Amazon does play a part. They got to say, hey, we want another season.
But Sony can always say, well, regardless of whether you want it or not, we're not going to make it anymore.
Correct.
Wow. They can be that hard.
They can be that hard. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
get on it, Sony. Because I'm pretty sure, despite I don't know what kind of numbers, I know that I've seen screenshots of people showing that how Wheel of Time is in the top 3 in multiple countries throughout the world. So I can't imagine Amazon is unhappy with their numbers.
Listen, I know the reaction I'm getting from people in Brazil is very positive. Like, better than people were reacting for Rings of Power. Actually. So I know that the number.
How can you diss the double S?
No, I'm not dissing anything.
No, I'm talking about you. S. I'm just saying, how can your countrymen diss the double S, the saucy Sauron?
No, it's not about that.
Very saucy. Spicy Ciarán.
No, I think people are like people that go to my channel. They are legitimately intrigued by the series at this point. They were like, "Oh, they're very interested in the magic system," because I think not all the books were translated to Portuguese.
And then broke, and then set, and then broke, and then set, and then
not
broke.
All the
That's the one complaint I have.
Not all the books were translated in Portuguese. So I think just the first 5, if I'm not mistaken. So people are very like, the reception has been positive since the first season, but I noticed like an increase of interest. And I know, like, honestly, I think for Germany, I think it's top 3, but it was first. It was number 1, like the first season and the second season. So, but that goes also with Reacher, because Reacher was still on when like they premiered Wheel of Time. So
Reacher's cheaper to make.
Reacher is cheaper to make.
But see, that's not an Amazon thing. That's a Sony or whoever makes it thing.
I'm just saying there's all this variance. So I know for sure that the numbers must be good, but I don't know how good they should be to, get the money going.
Yeah, they have so many crazy metrics that they're going to rely on this season. I have no idea how they're counting it, but
yeah. But my impression is that it's doing quite well internationally.
And that's the market you want for sure. Because Amazon's already got everybody on Prime here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Whether they're paying the additional money for commercial free or not, I guess is another story.
I don't pay anything.
Great. Then I can turn you in and get my Prime for free. Okay, Amazon, get her.
No, I watched
Is that how that works? Can I
watched the commercials.
Oh, you watch the commercials. Very good.
Yeah. I watched them religiously. I said, "Oh my God, time for the commercials!" Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, getting away from the business side of it. What else? Anything else about the Threefold Land before Bubba has questions or statements?
Collagen. I really think he's a jerk in the books and in the series. So they got this right. And that's I already said. So
he was not enough of a jerk in the TV show.
He was a soft jerk.
He got belittled by Bear.
Yeah. Ouch.
He was a soft jerk.
He kind of liked it when Lanfear pulled his sleeves down. Of course, who wouldn't? So I guess I can't hold that against him.
Lanfear. I mean, like, yeah.
He's strong.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Collagen, isn't he supposed to marry his brother's widow now? That he's
his father's widow.
Father's? It was a brother. No, the woman would marry his brother too, right?
Well, the woman was married to their father, and then she was going to marry whoever.
Yeah, whoever.
I guess she's not.
Chief.
Savannah is not their mother. She just was married to their father.
Yes, of course. So the brother went to Regine to become
And he died.
chief.
We saw him toast.
So now Collagen is a fake chief. Like, so I assume that he was going to marry her.
Mm.
Do you think
right?
Savannah will hold that up? She didn't get really what she wanted.
No.
I mean, I don't know. They both didn't want to follow Rand, and they are not following Rand. So
Yeah. So let's just take our little pocket over the dragon wall and cause havoc over there.
Let's do it.
But
And
I
I'll be
don't
your
know.
gal, just like I was your father's gal.
Bubba has questions.
Bubba has statements. I mean, questions. I mean, I don't know. What do I mean, Bubba? Are you asking questions or are you making statements this time around?
Well, I think I might know the answer to this one, but I proudly wear my ignorance of not having read the books on this podcast. I have read the first 2 books, but I stopped there. Even though we're on season 3, I said I'm going to stop there. So now the question becomes, can I read the 3rd book? Or it feels like I can't read the 3rd book because something has to happen. We saw the thing Moiraine found in Ruidian, and so now Rand's got to get the male version of that. So can I read the 3rd book readers? Yes or no?
There you go. We're not going to answer it. I mean, I
Oh,
could
great.
answer it.
Why not?
So you don't like me asking questions. You want statements because you don't want to answer my
Well,
questions.
you never want to. Every time I try to answer it like a question, you tell me no, it's a statement. So, or a rhetorical question. So,
I say read it.
All right,
Bubba.
okay.
There was a lot of things that happened in this season that actually did happen in book 3. So that stuff you're safe. If you can assume that the Aiel, according to Moiraine's plan, which was to go to Tyr at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that was her original
And
plan.
then Rand's assumption was, well, I'll get an army and then I'll go to Tyr. The Tyr thing happens in book 3. But everything you saw that wasn't book 3 in this season was book 4. There was some book 6. There was some book 7.
Wow.
So I don't think it really matters. Here's my advice. See if it renewed. See if they renew it. See if they renew the show, and then read to your heart's content, because it's going to take you a while to get through all of them anyway. If they don't renew it. But if you really want to stay TV spoiler free, I would say do not read book 3 yet. That would be my advice.
My advice is read book 3.
Well, if you're going to read book 3, then go ahead and read book 4 because
I just saw it, right? I mean,
you basically saw most of book 4.
Okay.
Alrighty. If you read both books, you will understand what happens in Tyr and why they didn't go there.
Sure thing. Okay, here's my next question.
Uh-oh.
And this was always my big mistake. I assumed that the Dark One was like a corporal being, somebody you could have conversations with, somebody who you could like talk to and could be a physical thing. And then you guys have kind of convinced me, no, the Dark One is kind of this evil force. So here's my question. Through 3 seasons, if you had to ask me who's the most powerful, well, I'm going to trust the Wheel of Time's marketing. When they put out the villain's poster, who was front and center? Who was the biggest character on the villain's poster? It was Lanfear. So here's my question.
Not Pat and Fane?
No, believe it or not, I'm sure that was said to get me to snicker, like you successfully did. So here's my question: is Lanfear the big bad, the biggest, since the Dark One is just a force? Is Lanfear the biggest hurdle outside of overcoming, the evilness within him that Rand has to defeat?
I have no idea what the show's going to do. So I'll just say for now, yeah.
Okay. All right. And now here is my 3rd question. Of the characters who have died, and this can be through season 1, season 2, season 3, which one were you the saddest that their character passed away? We were talking about Loial just a week ago. We're talking about Swan this week. There was Uno, right, from season 2. There have been a lot of heroes who are no longer with us. Is it Matt Cawthon's mom, Natty Coffin? Who, Priscilla, I'm going to come to you first. Through 3 seasons, which character are you sad? Who are you going to miss most?
You know the answer. Why are you asking me?
I'm asking you because I want you to say it and say why. Why you're going to miss
You
it.
already know. It's Child Valda.
And why is... Because you wanted him to lead the White Cloaks. Is that...
No.
Is it...
No. It's because Child Valda was a very, like, he was a villain that was not afraid to be a villain.
Yeah.
Okay, a villain not afraid to be a villain. I like that.
Yeah, and all other villains that we have, they always have some sort of motive or reason.
And they were a sad boy, like your boy.
Yeah, or they are from the age of legends or whatever. Child Valda, no. Child Valda, he was a villain, and he kind of like, he had this whole thing about torturing people, about questioning people. That was, and he hated Perrin, and he made no excuses, and that's what it is.
Okay, and I love it.
I will miss a person like Valda, because it's a person that you have no problems understanding the motivations and like the methods. You know exactly what you're going to get, and with a villain like lanfear, for instance.
Yeah.
And the Forsaken also, they keep switching allegiances between them. With a villain like Liandrin, that they were trying to give more dimension, and now like her storyline is centuries old storyline with the whole bunch of family feuds and traumas and everything. And you know what, and Mortgaging also, it's like this psychotic murder on a murder spree.
Sure.
And Child Valda was rooted in reality.
He's simple, yeah.
He's simple, yeah. So I think the series lacks more villain characters like this.
Yeah, villain where you know where they stand.
All right, let's hear it, Matt. How about you? Are you going to answer the same way with Child Valda? What are you going to say?
No, simply because I think there's a couple of Child Valda's future storylines that I'm relieved that he won't be part of.
That's true.
I mean, Uno, Loial, Swan, they all have storylines that go beyond where they ended in the books. Which of those storylines will I think that I miss most? Probably Swan's, because there's still a lot for her to do pretty close to the future of this. The coup does happen in these 2 books that we said that you can go ahead and read. So you get that part, but there's a whole other part after that that the show now evidently can't do. They can do the storyline itself, but not with the characters that are there. And it means a lot to one of the other major characters. The fact that she can, that she requires the help of one of the major characters in order for something really kind of miraculous to happen, which I can still see them doing that. Just we can't do it with her character. And I really got endeared to Swan during the course of that particular journey, and now I won't get that with that particular character.
Aw. Okay, so you both hate Loial. That's what I take from this. Thanks.
Well, Loial doesn't do much.
Yeah, see, there you go. The truth is revealed. Those are Bubba's questions for this week.
Bubba has questions.
Fireweave of the week. Oh, it's time to burn somebody. Love it, love it. Who you burning, Priscilla? Who you burning?
I'm undecided. I mean, that's true. I think Jean calling Morgaze a whore to Elayne and
Whoa.
Tom's face was hilarious. I love it. And the way she did it was completely like coming out of the shadows, like completely surprising them. It was very good.
And then not knowing how to use the damn thing.
Yeah,
That's some incompetence right there.
Yeah. I also like Leandrine laughing at Nynaeve's face. So that was very good. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That was pretty terrible. How about you, Bubba? What you got?
Let me say, I think I'm going to have to give it up to my girl, Lanfear. Her utter, she is putting herself out there, and Rand is just saying, hell to the no. You're a monster. He is negging beyond negging. He is fire negging Lanfear. So I think Lanfear got burned, and I'm going to give it up to my girl.
That's excellent. Mine goes to Nynaeve, showing Matt exactly how easy it is to use chopsticks. Big smile on her face. Here's what's really funny about this, Bubba.
Yeah.
In the books, Nynaeve's the one who has all the trouble with the chopsticks. I loved it. It got me, man. That was hilarious.
Oh, good.
I was a wonderful book nod in reverse because Nynaeve is just terrible with the chopsticks. It's hilarious. And so to have her do it with such ease and show off to Matt, and yeah, that's a great burn to me. This is the last episode of season 3 on the last episode of Bustin' Blockbusters. So it's time to grade the season overall.
Okay.
And I would love to hear from you, Priscilla. What did you think about the season overall? Season 3 of The Wheel of Time.
We talked like that season 1 had its flaws. It was mainly fun, but it had lots of flaws. Season 2 was an improvement on season 1, and now season 3, it's really like where you feel that the series is really established itself as a whole entity, as what it is. So when I think about Wheel of Time, I will probably think back about the moments more in the season, like mainly episode 4. Like that was the highlight so far of Wheel of Time. So overall, it's a solid season, very fun. Pacing is very much like improved. I would say that there are some plot, like my nitpicks or criticisms would be a couple of plots that points and stories that I think dragged, and when the resolution is not really there for me. But overall, I think they managed to give even characters that had less to do, they managed to give interesting, at least a couple of scenes throwing out here. So Loial, for instance, he didn't do much, but when it mattered, like to wrap up his storyline, they managed to do it justice, I feel. Child Valda, anyway, we had a lot of surprises in this season, things that I generally did not expect from the book reader perspective. And like Child Valda, Swanal, and even Loial, you don't expect, mainly like the big deaths that happen. I think it makes sense for a series to build on, that is building on this pace, to kind of try to trim down the fat, and to also give an idea that there are stakes. They're like, that nobody's safe. They managed to put stakes very high with the White Tower storyline, that I think was the most successful, like in terms of where it began and how it ended. It was like it felt very self-contained story that was mainly like from the perspective of storytelling, very successful. We had like a beginning, a middle, of the end, an end in this season. And within this storyline, you branch out for all the other storylines. So I think this was a clever way to actually work this season. So like episode 1, you establish the White Tower that is being broken down in itself. And from then you have all the groups moving away from it. You have Perrin going to the Two Rivers. You have like Ren going to the Threefold Lane with Moiraine. And you have like in the next episode, like Nynaeve and Elayne going away to Tanchico. So everything coming from the White Tower. It felt very organic. It felt very well developed. So even when it's not working completely, like in the Nynaeve storyline, I can still look back and say, well, at least they tried to make something out of it for a couple of episodes. It derailed, in my opinion, but at least they tried. My concern is that it's season 3. We don't know if we are going to get a season 4, and it goes back to all my fears of getting attached to any series that I watch, because nowadays you the way you have so much content and people are very nitpicky of how you're going to waste or invest your hours in entertainment. So I understand that.
Desperate Housewives for me.
I really hope that it gets renewed, because I would love to see this story until the end.
Yeah.
And I hope at least, I don't know the numbers. I just have a feeling the way they are structuring this particular season, like trimming down the fat, as I said, like eliminating characters, cutting up stuff, that maybe they're simplifying to tell a more condensed story. Because I could, the way they did this season, I could see a couple more seasons. It was not ideal. We want 7 seasons, but the reality is that we might, if we get a 4th and a 5, I would call it a day.
Rafe wanted 8 episodes, or 10 episode, 8 seasons. Didn't get
Well, 14 books,
yeah.
you probably need it, right?
Yeah,
That's what his thinking was.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That's not going to happen. You're absolutely right, Priscilla.
It's not feasible. Like 2 years intervals between seasons. I think 2 seasons more to wrap up. Then it's 4 years to produce.
Yeah, and they haven't even started anything on season 4 yet, because they don't have a renewal for it. So
yeah, that's what I meant. Like
I bet they've got an outline. I bet they have scripts.
Oh, they do. If you look
at
Rafe's AMA, they've already been talking about what they're going to do for season 4.
All right, let me give my thoughts on season 3. I'll say that as the non-book reader, I thought season 1 was good, kind of like a B-, C+, okay. Season 2 is when I think the show really started to take off. This sounds crazy to say that the horrific torture that Egwene went through at the hands of the Seanchan was horrific, but it was incredible drama. It got me hooked. I think Priscilla's right. This season with episode 4, they've proven they can do almost masterpiece TV. Hell, I think episode 4 was a masterpiece. It needs a renewal for season 4. And I'll just, if I had to give this season episode a grade, I'd go A- B pluses.
I really can't find any reason to complain except for the sake of comedy, to be perfectly honest. And I haven't done that very well either. Yeah. Except for those magic rules. Darn it. Firm those things up. It's driving me crazy. What's driving our listeners crazy? Let's check out some feedback that we've got here. Horizons says, do you guys think Chalvalda was secretly perceiving Weaves? Maybe he was a channeler himself and he hated himself for that. For me, the burn of the week was the Trolloc that had his face shoved in the glowing coals. The first thing I thought of when I saw Chalvalda burn was that Priscilla was going to mourn him. Anyway, 8.5, double L's.
Double L's.
Yeah, that's for loyal, or loyal. For me, the connection with the wolves is really missing here, both as a book reader and non. Perrin was just glowing his eyes, but the wolves were nowhere. It should have been important, especially since they did that already in season 1. That's my own interjection there. That's why not a high score for the 7th episode of season 3. Nevertheless, it made me hate Padan Fain even more. And to be honest, in the books, the children were cowards. Oh, you don't say that about the Cawthon girls. Where are the girls?
Dang.
Where are the girls?
Dang.
Oh man,
They were evil, yes.
that
Yeah,
hurt.
they hurt Valda. A single child. 2 on 1.
Yeah, they're cowards. They team up on people. Caroline also said this in regards to episode 7. Hey trio, great breakdown. Was not ready for mass reveal. Blah blah blah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I would love to see Loial. Well, I've already talked about it. So I would love to see Loial in the Horns garrison. That would be keeping him in the story without having him hang from both his fingers in the void. Thanks for the feedback, everyone. Excellent.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. This email is too small for me to read. I gotta have to blow my picture up here. This is an email from Carolina regarding this episode. Hello, trio. Looking forward to your discussion. I think I would give it a 10 out of 10 BIOTRs.
What? Huh?
Wow.
BIOTR.
Yeah, blame it on the rain.
Oh, blame it on Elayne. Oops, excuse me. Blame it on the rain.
Yeah, water is life, baby. I really like the Tanchico crew figured out about the Forsaken early. It tees up the next story with them. Why they have to fortify better. I think that I would take a 5th for the scene where Rand thanks Moiraine. It was beautifully acted.
I agree.
And felt really satisfied that Moiraine gets to know that she truly mattered, even if she might not see the last battle. Or will she? Did she die? I'm unsure if she's dead, since Aviendha can channel, right? Well, she's definitely injured. But then again, I thought she got strangled and stabbed in the liver. So yeah. I'm confused as to how she's still alive, too. Let's see. I think the burn of the week is my lack of concern for what happened in the White Tower now that Elaida, or for what will happen in the White Tower now that Elaida is Amyrlin's seat. I should know I care more, but after what they did to Swan, bye, Felicia.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's the right attitude.
Good attitude to have, I suppose. My big question now is the implication of Matt not hearing voices and his ownership of certain relics. Thanks for all your thoughts and hard work this season breaking down this wonderful story of the Wheel of Time. Excellent. Anybody have any response to any of that?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Perfect.
And then, oh boy, Irenicus on Blue Sky says, "I'm hoping we get a season 4 of Wheel of Time." Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
And we had this late feedback about our coverage of episode 7 from the Threads app, and this is Sarah Curly Whirly said, "Wow, I thought episode 7." What an episode. I've waited years to see this in real life, and I cried all the way through it. Heck yeah, Sarah Curly Whirly. Heck yeah.
All right. I'm glad you were enthusiastic about it. I'm sorry if I seemed a little hard on it. I don't know what I was expecting. Okay, I'm sorry that I was a little hard on it. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but yeah, I was evidently expecting something else and didn't get it. So, to all of you who have, I don't know, tolerated my talking on this podcast for about 5 years, on other podcasts as many as 16 years. I really appreciate the time you put in. I really appreciate when you would correct me. I really appreciate it when you would just disagree with me, even though you were wrong. And I really appreciate it when my co-hosts make it so fun to show up. So Priscilla and Bubba, thank you so much for doing this, putting up with my crazy rules and my crazy life and my lack of ability to show up on camera. And thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. Before we go, please tell everybody about what you're going to do for Star Wars Andor Season 2.
Yeah,
and how they can contact you.
Literally, not even a full week after this season has ended, we're jumping into Star Wars Andor Season 2. Cassian Andor, it's me, Luthen Rael. And so we're going to be covering it, breaking it down. We're breaking it down in these 3-episode chunks when they release it every 3 weeks. Then later this week, we're tackling our 5th season of Only Murders in the Building coverage. We've got so much coming up. Please subscribe, like, give us comments, because you are as important part of our podcasting as we are. And if you want to see Wheel of Time Season 4, tell us why you want to see it down in the YouTube comments on social media, because this is a great community of people who know what's what.
And maybe even Priscilla and Bubba will get together in the future and talk
Heck
about
yeah.
it, 6 years from now when the next season comes out. Once again, folks, thanks very much. Memories, Matt, I shall take them from you, but it's gonna cost you.
We wanted to sing.
You gonna sing one last time? We gotta go, but do you want to sing one last time before we leave? Your money song?
No, never.
Okay.
But I will say that I will thank you, Matt, for doing podcasts and being like a very welcoming host.
Even though you're always wrong.
Even though you're always wrong. But before that, when I was like listening to you podcast Winterfell, I think we already talked about it. Yeah. I really appreciated that you didn't go like 99% of people at the time, like covering Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire. Like you were always very like adamant at discussing theories, but not actually like talking favorites or like,
Yeah, I've ruined that in the last 5 years, haven't I?
Yeah, and you're all right, you're all wrong, and like this sort of attitude that many people in that fandom had, like that discussing and then getting agitated. You're always like there to just talk about the books and just talk about the series, and that was very good. And then we started doing this together, and
your opinion of me dropped considerably.
No, I got to see that, you actually had much more opinions and much more passion about discussing things that basically
that don't matter.
Basically that you were the reasonable voice of discussing Game of Thrones. It was because other people are unhinged.
Oh. Just by comparison, not that I was
by comparison, we're like, but it's like, I'm just joking. But I mean, it has been a pleasure, and I'm very sad that you decided to actually retire. But it has been fun. So thank you for your service and everything. It was very nice.
Thank you so much for tolerating me, because I'll interrupt you, I'll scream at you. You never say anything except, hey, just let me finish. You've been very polite to a very unpolite person. I am a very polite person.
You've been
very polite to a very unpolite person in myself.
My grandmother always said that I was very polite.
Let me finish, will you?
My grandmother always said, "Oh, yeah." So, thank you, Grandma.
And we'll let you finish, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yay. Stop recording. Stop recording? It's just going to go on forever and ever. The podcast, it never ends. Stop. Stop.
It's just like...
I'm clicking. Stop.